Alrighty, guys. Good morning slash afternoon. I'm Ryan, Michigan Storm Chasers. This is going to be a final update on our snow system coming in for the evening. Let's go ahead and dive on into the full forecast package. We have a lot to go over today, but it should be pretty simple. We're going to talk about impacts, and we're going to talk about all that good jazz that goes along with it. So we're going to go ahead and first start off with our precipitation depiction. Precip type here, going back this up. Let's go ahead and run this through the time frame here. So starting this morning, 7 o'clock here in the model, we're going to run it through to current time, 10:30 or so, about 11 o'clock to be exact. Here is the 11 o'clock time frame. We have snow starting to push into the west part of Michigan here. Here is noon. Some snowflakes could start falling as early as about 1 o'clock right here at the model. We're seeing that blue snow move into the state. It may take some time for this to saturate the atmosphere. So if you guys have radars, it may show snow falling, but in reality, it could just be evaporating above your head for a few hours. So snow begins earliest time around 1 or 2 p.m., but likely going to start picking up later. We get 3, 4 o'clock here. Move forward here to the 2 and then 3 o'clock time frame. This is when we really start becoming concerned for the impacts to start picking up here. Roads deteriorating, snow starts falling in a little bit more heavier amounts. Expect that around 3 or 4 o'clock today. This is currently 3 o'clock on the model. Let's go to 4. Notice how the southeast part of Michigan down here is in a mix. All right, keep that in mind. As we move into 5 o'clock time frame here, 6 o'clock, everybody turns to snow. And by the time we get into the evening hours, the heaviest snow will begin around that 9, 10 o'clock time frame. Move this forward here to 10 o'clock. We're going to start moving this forward to 11. Here's midnight tonight. Snow continues. Here's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. By the time we get towards 6 or 7 a.m., that snow moves out of the state, and we are left with just minor snow showers and lake effect snow for the UP and perhaps parts of western lower Michigan. Some additional accumulations could be possible with that lake effect snow. It's not going to be a huge deal, but a couple inches, additional inches after the system says goodbye would be a possibility. Let's go ahead and look at a plethora of models for their snowfall accumulations. We'll show you guys our prediction here. So starting with the HRRR, the high resolution guidance here, they're basically blanketing areas in Michigan of like 2 to 6 inches, with some areas like in the thumb southeast part of Michigan, perhaps parts of northern lower Michigan, getting in on some of that action for some higher amounts when all is said and done. So that is model number 1. Let's go and look at the GFS model here. GFS, the global models, are a little bit more so aggressive with the accumulations here, a little bit higher amounts, 4 to 7 inches or so in spots. And then also the European that was coming out last night is basically what we're kind of going with our forecast here, kind of a mix of both. Good swath here across south central lower Michigan of 4 to 8 plus inches. The thumb could have double-digit snowfalls as well. So putting it all together, we have a full forecast package to share with you guys for this system. But before I get to that, I will say a couple things here. Number 1, this is going to be a lighter, fluffier type of snow, and the winds will be blowing 15 to 25, perhaps 30 miles per hour in spots. That could cause low visibility conditions in certain areas, as well as make some blowing and drifting snow definitely a possibility here. But by no means is this going to be a blizzard. By no means is this a significant, big, major winter storm. But do keep in mind, travel will be impacted regardless here across pretty much the entire state, starting around the afternoon, continuing into Thursday morning. So going into our forecast package here, we're going to start with our snowfall map. This is our last call snowfall. We're sticking with the 5 to 9 there. We kind of bumped it just a tad bit northward there, but we did add an 8 to 12 zone for parts of the thumb. So if you are close to that red zone or in or around that red zone, be prepared for double-digit snowfall possibilities in Huron, Sanilac, maybe even as far west as Tuscola counties. We went conservative based on the latest guidance here, but we could see areas close to the 8 to 12 get close to double-digit snowfall there. 3 to 6 inches is going to be the case for pretty much all of lower Michigan, from Cadillac to Gaylord to Ludington to Muskegon down to Grand Rapids, Holland, Niles, Coldwater, Adrian, Ann Arbor, Detroit areas, all in a 3 to 6 inch zone. Further southeast in Monroe, we are expecting a little bit more in the way of mixing to happen. Excuse me. So that's going to give you guys a little bit less in the way of snowfall, but it will raise your ice amounts just a tad bit there in Monroe County especially. Going further north into the UP, 1 to 3 inches widespread there. Further east toward the Sioux, 2 to 4 inches a possibility. Further west in that white zone by Crystal Falls, Ironwood areas, trace to an inch. This is not a major, this is not lake effect prone, or this is not a lake effect system, should I say. This is a synoptic snow system, so this is not lake effect related. So that's our snow forecast. Let's go ahead and move on to our ice forecast here. We're sticking with a trace to about 500ths of an inch, exception of Monroe County there. We could have a 1/10 of an inch, perhaps as much as, we're not going to say 15/10. Is that the right terminology? 15/10? 0.15. So that's going to be the main concern there from Monroe County. A nice glaze of ice. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. But overall, storm criteria here for ice storm criteria is not going to be met. At least we're not thinking it will be. But still, some good icing could occur there from Adrian to Coldwater up through Detroit Metro, perhaps as far north as Port Huron. Prepare yourselves for a glaze of ice at very least. But again, no ice storm impacts like power outages, tree impacts, nothing like that expected. All right. Now, moving on to our timing graphic here, we did bump the start time up a few hours because the latest model trends have sped this up just a bit. Although, again, there is some uncertainty with how fast the snow will fall. We're going with 3 to 7 p.m. around that time for our start time. It should be closer to 3 o'clock or so. It's going to depend heavily on how fast the atmosphere will saturate. So between those two time frames, expect snow to begin there in the white zones. Going further east in the yellow, 4 to 8 is going to be the call there for the first arrival time. And then last but not least, up in the green zones, 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. for your arrival of first snowflakes. We also have traffic maps out for you guys. We're going red pretty much all across the state, with exception to where the heavier snow and where some bigger cities may fall. 94 especially is a big area there, as well as 75 from Monroe County and into Detroit Metro, really. Travel not advised, really, is what we're going to go with here, just because, A, higher snow totals for the thumb area, but also, B, Thursday morning, really, the commute will be quite slick out there across much of the state. So take it easy. That's all we're going to say here. This is a typical winter storm. It's going to be slick out there. Just allow yourself plenty of time to go to places. We're all smart here. Let's just be smart about our travel tomorrow morning, especially beginning tonight, really, but also especially for the commute on Thursday as people go to work, school, etc., etc. Going further north, though, we are going with a pretty much blanketed high-impact red zone there. A couple places in travel not advised, purple. And then over by Traverse City, just because lower snowfall totals, we're going medium impacts up there. In the UP, pretty much a blanketed medium impact day, especially further toward the Sault Ste. Marie area. But as far west you go toward Ironwood, we're going low impacts there just because a trace to an inch is not that impactful to our travel forecast. So with that being said, I'll mention one more thing here before we pop out of here, and that is going to be our thunder snow potential. Yes, you heard me correctly. Thunder snow. There is potential this evening around the 10 p.m. or so, 9, 10, 11 p.m. into the 1, 2, 3 a.m. time frame, about a 4 to 6 hour period. We may get a potential lightning strike across southern or central lower Michigan. Looking at the model here, this is a product we call lightning flash density. We're going to run this through here. We're going to see some coloration here in Michigan. I'm going to pause it right about here. This is at 10 p.m. here. And we're going to start seeing that kind of pick up there around the midnight time frame. That is highlighting potential for a few lightning strikes across parts of Michigan. Now, I know it's centered over southeast. That's the best chance, I do believe, from basically Lansing over to Port Huron and then point southward to the border. I think you guys have a good chance for thunder, not a good chance, but the best chance for thunder snow. But I wouldn't be shocked to see a couple lightning strikes over toward Grand Rapids, for example, or Kalamazoo. So just be mindful of that. We could have some lightning tonight with this snow as it reaches its peak intensity late evening into the very early morning hours of Thursday. All right, today's sponsor of the video is above my head today, StormGuard Roofing and Construction, based out of the Detroit metro area, 248-985-3239. StormGuard does construction and roofing on your residential homes. Feel free to give them a call if you need some work. Thank you to StormGuard for sponsoring today's YouTube video. If you're watching this before noon, we'll do a live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and X for our final forecast package and also take some Q&A. So feel free to tune in if you happen to get this video before then. We'll be live around the noon time frame, so stay tuned for that. Otherwise, we'll have a live stream tonight with our chasers in the field, as well as updates being posted to our Facebook page all day long. So stay tuned to us. We got you guys covered here in Michigan for tonight's snow event. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. We're going to talk about an Arctic blast coming up, as well as a second system for Saturday that could bring more snow for parts of Michigan. So stay tuned, guys. We got you guys covered here at Michigan Storm Chasers.